The Buff Bay River and Spanish River valleys inland from the town make up one of the most fertile agricultural regions on the island, cultivated diligently by hundreds of small coffee and banana farmers. Like so many rivers in eastern Jamaica, this river flows from the mountains through various communities to the sea. Many persons use the river for a myriad of reasons. Some hunt for food and make a living by catching crayfish to sell. Unfortunately, some have adopted the practice of catching crayfish by pouring chemicals into the river to kill them. This practice is very dangerous, as these chemicals do not only kill the crayfish, they also kill other animals and plants in the area.
River poisoning is a major issue because it degrades the water quality. So the very water that the people in the community are using for their bathing and sometimes drinking, swimming, recreation, that becomes degraded. They are at risk of health problems and maybe even death, because the poisons that are used are engineered to kill things, whether plants or animals. Secondly, river poisoning affects all the animals in the stream, those that are targeted by the fishermen as well as those that are not targeted. And in nature, everything is connected. So from the leaf that falls into the stream that the fish eat, and then the people eat the fish, then you can have those poisons traveling up through that fish into people who then consume it.
The grammar zone, run up and them stuff poison, the eye poison them. It will, if you throw it here, it will bring around a mile or a mile and a half distance. It can kill the fish them, turn them over. But the sevens now and the bleach powder, I'm going to burn them eye. So they burn them eye, them not really dead. Some will dead, yes, but them not dead off. But when I use the poison like the grammar zone and them something there, it go far, it go a far distance. And it kill off a whole lot of fish them, poison them off, them dead.
The favorite poison used in river poison is 7. 7 is a powerful poison. It's engineered to kill insects and snails that may affect crops. If you throw that in a river, it will kill all the life that it touches. So the targeted fish and shrimp, as well as the insects that you're not targeting, as well as the snails and the busu in the river. What we find is that it will kill the animals that some of the fish and shrimp eat. So they will have less food to eat. But more importantly, if someone were to ingest a high dose of the 7, they can start showing symptoms such as abdominal cramps, severe abdominal cramps, the kind that will put people in hospital, excess salivation, blurred vision, diarrhea. Their pupils become tiny little pinpoints. They have trouble breathing because of tightness in the chest. And those are acute symptoms that many people have reported. But more importantly, there's a lot of evidence that 7 is a carcinogen, meaning it will cause cancer if it accumulates in your system. There's some evidence that it might also be a reproductive toxin, which means it can affect people's sperm and egg production. And also it's suspected to be an endocrine disruptor, which means it affects the glands that help your body function. So sometimes it might affect your thyroid gland or your adrenal gland. I don't know the medicine behind it, but all the evidence from pesticide research shows that it can disrupt the glands, cause cancer, as well as reproductive disruptions.
And now if you use whole heap, you just use this liquor free. Those river, you see, like catch a fish them, you catch them, you throw this, it start work an hour or half an hour. It start work. When it start work, the fish them start turn over, pump on the water. You see, so you go say you pull it like so. You throw it here in the water. Throw it in the water, now you're done. Sit down and wait for a little while. You must see the fish them start run up and down and start float on the water. Them start to dead now, so we just start pick them up and them something, you see. But differently still, Just so you go. Three of them come from under stone, you see them run up and down, you just catch them and them something, you just catch them. Set your net, your fish pot, anything, catch them.
Over the years, we have been plagued with river poisoning in this community, where persons would use the chemical, Roundup and other stuff to poison the river so that then they could catch a large amount of fishes at one time. I think this is a very bad practice, and I don't think it is good for human consumption. I'm not aware of persons being sick per se because of the eating of these fishes, but I know that over time that this would cause major illnesses. The CDC has tried, consistently to warn people of this practice, and so we find that it is not as frequent as before. It has been mitigated somewhat because persons have learned that this is a very bad thing to do.
We have had several reports of people becoming sick from river poisoning. One particularly well-documented case is that of Robert Wilson from Bellevue. He's an elder in the community, and one day he saw someone with a string of janga, and he bought it and cooked it up. His wife cooked it up for him. And for a week after that, he was so sick he had to go to the hospital. He had to spend money he had and didn't have on medication, all because of the poison that was in the janga. And both the doctor and himself confirmed that it came from the janga.
There are safe, effective ways of catching crayfish that do not harm the environment and would make the fish safe for eating.
We have more than potential impacts. We have seen impacts where these communities in the Blue and John Crow Mountains were described as fishing communities back in the 1800s. The Maroons and the people who came before them were able to fish and sustain their lives, get high quality protein from the rivers, and everybody was able to get. We now have a situation where there are fewer fish and there are smaller fish. There are no foot-long mullets, schools of foot-long mullets anymore. And that is as a direct result of the pollution, the sedimentation, and river poisoning, which is over-harvesting the fish faster than they can replenish themselves.
I know at summertime when I set fish pot like now, shoot them with the gun. But like when I rain time, certain time I hear like December go down, the set fish pot, because the water come down heavy. So once you bounce down, you know a fish pot set already. So once them bounce down, I straight in your fish pot, once I tie your fish pot full of fish, half of fish, same way.
Colonel Harris told me an interesting story about when he was growing up early in the 20th century. He's in his 90s now. But when he was growing up, the way young men would show their physical prowess and show off among themselves and to the young ladies was to stand on a boulder in the middle of the river. They would use this huge harpoon called a junga, and they would use that to spear fish, throwing it from the boulder where they were standing into the fish down in the pool. And that says to us that back in those days, but not too long ago, people were able to get fish that were big enough to be caught with a harpoon.
The Buff Bay River is situated on the outskirts of the Blue and John Crow Mountains National Park, a protected area of natural forest reserves. The actions of persons could affect the reserve.
With all that wealth of culture and nature, it says to me that these communities have a vested interest in keeping their rivers clean and healthy and full of wildlife for themselves and for their families.